Our first keynote speech today will be given by the Global Deputy Director of Ocean Program, World Resources Institute, United States of America. Please welcome Ms. Cynthia Barzuna.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Excellencies. Good morning, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends. It is an honor to join you here in Taiwan, a place defined by deep maritime heritage, strategic position in the Indo-Pacific, and its growing leadership in ocean sustainability. I want to begin by thanking the organizers for bringing together such a diverse and action-oriented group. This dialogue could not be more timely. I have different hats. I am the director of Ocean Action 2030, which is a coalition of leading institutions, multi-development banks, of UN agencies, and NGOs that work together towards creating a sustainable ocean management through sustainable ocean plans. I am also the Global Deputy Director of WRI, and I'm a collaborator of the high-level panel for a sustainable ocean economy, which is basically 18 serving world leaders that work together towards a sustainable use of the ocean. But I also speak to you as someone who served in government as Vice Minister of Water and Ocean Affairs in Costa Rica. So I've seen firsthand the complexity of governing the ocean and the incredible potential we unlock when we get it right. So today I want to talk a bit about getting it right. A sustainable blue economy is not just about what we extract or produce from the ocean. It's about the conditions we create to enable prosperity, equity, and long-term resilience at the ocean. And at the heart of enabling an environment is maritime security. For so long, maritime security has been seen as separate agenda handled by defense ministers, coast guards, or international law. But the reality is, insecurity at sea undermines every pillar of a sustainable blue economy. It disrupts legal trade routes, it discourages private investment, it undermines food systems, and it deters regional cooperation as well. We also host the Secretariat for our Ocean Conference. Most of you were just joined us in Busan back in April. And this was a very special year because this year we launched for the first time the stocktake of 10 years of holding this conference. A lot of information came from that assessment. One of the most important things is that I would like to share with you today is that out of the 6 core areas that are important for this conference, maritime security received the fewest numbers of commitments. And increasingly, but it was increasingly recognized that it's foundational. I would like to say also that Taiwan, Japan, Norway, Indonesia, the EU, and others have invested in patrol vessels, satellite surveillance, Coast Guard cooperation. So these are enablers of sustainable development. But yes, more needs to be done. We must reframe maritime security as a development and investment priority. So here are a few ideas. One of them comes from the Ocean Panel itself, where they decided not so long ago, back in 2020, that together they could create better opportunities to sustainably manage the ocean. The headline commitment is to sustainably manage 100% of waters under national jurisdiction through sustainable ocean plans. Sustainable ocean plans are this huge umbrella under which policy, marine spatial planning, marine protected areas, conflicting uses of the ocean, renewable energies, transboundary issues all comes into place under one single holistic approach. 18 world leaders committed to deliver their sustainable ocean plans within a time frame of 5 years. The 14 founding members committed to deliver by 2025, and the rest will do so before 2030. So this is also an open invitation for countries that have joined us today also to think about the benefits of having your house in order first, to have the conversation on the biggest issues like maritime security. In a world where threats are increasing a lot, asymmetric drones, trafficking, cyber attacks, we cannot afford the silo security from sustainability. A secured ocean space is the prerequisite for a thriving, sustainable blue economy. So let me give you some stats. As I told you, maritime security has the fewest commitments from countries, equivalent to 8.3 billion in pledge funds. It has received the second lowest total of pledge finance. However, has the second highest completion rate after sustainable fisheries. 47% of this maritime security commitments have been completed. Governments account 73% of maritime security commitments, and Japan alone has 24% of those commitments. Taiwan knows this well. Your investments in Coast Guard capacity, electronic surveillance, and IUU monitoring are not just security measures, they're economic enablers. Taiwan has invested and committed to invest in 77.5 million to combat IUU. Indonesia, 73.3 million in surveillance. So neighbors are starting to see the relevance of this investment, of this commitment. It goes into capacity building, into partnerships. Maritime security represents a clear opportunity for growth, of course. Now, let's talk about money. Someone mentioned yesterday SDG 14. Yes, it's the least funded of them all. For some reason, the ocean is our biggest ally when it comes to combating the triple planetary crisis: pollution, climate, and biodiversity loss. However, we don't use the ocean as our biggest ally for some reason. Only 0.01% goes into financing ocean-based solutions. So this is unacceptable. We need to change this. Only 13 billion per year goes into sustainable ocean finance, currently mobilized far below the estimated 175 billion per year needed by 2030. Private investment remains minimal, less than 1%. Why is that? Because we haven't de-risked investment in the ocean. So we have to work together in order to get this right as well. Grants, loans, concessional finance is what we have available. Risk perception, of course, is the major barrier. And high risk, low return, limited data. These are things that do not make bankable projects. Investment is concentrated in, of course, few sectors. 72%, just to give you another stat, of all blue finance goes into marine transport and port infrastructure. So the usual suspects, but areas like sustainable fisheries, marine ecosystems, restoration and coastal resilience receive a tiny, tiny little fraction of this. So another stat, 550 billion will be needed to cover the finance gap that we have towards, this is how big the gap is towards 2030. We're not there yet, we're not even close. Another stat, 133 million jobs are in ocean economy today. The projected growth is 51 million jobs by 2050. That represents 1.5 annual growth in employment. Women comprise 50% of the employment of the fisheries sector in informal and underpaid positions. Coastal communities are always the ones that struggle most and are the poorest. So let's talk about the positives. What are the solutions? Well, one of the solutions, as I said, is investing in sustainable ocean plans. Investing in this holistic approach will bring in exactly the kind of policy coherence that investors are looking for. We need more of instruments that deliver on regional cooperation, transboundary issues. The Ocean Panel has already called on all coastal states to produce sustainable ocean plans by 2030. Over 18 countries are now working on their sustainable ocean plans. 9 of them have already delivered. 4 of them are in the makings. But we need more. We need more commitment. Together, they make 40% of the EEZ of the world. We need to cover 100% of it. And so connecting to the theme that you have discussing for past few days, why do SOPs help maritime security? Well, let me tell you, governments, institutional and maritime domain awareness, SOPs can help with that, integrate ISPS and SSAS protocols, and define roles and responsibilities across maritime agencies. They offer the legal and policy scaffolding to Coast Guard collaboration, data sharing, early warning systems, infrastructure, and blue investments. But it's also, the ocean is not just territory, it's about the people. So by having this policy coherence, by creating the right governance in the EEZs, we're also creating the right blue jobs. We're creating equity. We're including and co-producing sustainable ocean plans with indigenous peoples, with the local communities, integrating local knowledge into this. And another beauty of sustainable ocean plans is that they're custom-made to each country's reality. If we get this right, sustainable ocean economy could generate an additional 51 million jobs by 2050. So using this umbrella concept could help us create the marine protected areas that are very much needed, marine spatial planning to address conflicting uses of the ocean, and also, why not, to create those sustainable blue jobs that are very much needed. Ever since the commitment from the Ocean Panel to sustainably manage waters under national jurisdiction through sustainable ocean plans, and ever since they started to commit and develop and implement their sustainable ocean plans, which, by the way, are dynamic processes that will continue to change according to the realities of each country and the geopolitical reality as well. The 100% Alliance was launched by President Macron back in 2024. It's co-led by Chile and by France, and together supported by the Ocean Panel and with all of the support with WRI as well, have committed to have this global approach to bring in as many countries as possible to deliver on this very ambitious agenda of having sustainable ocean plans. But yesterday, they referred to the Paris Agreement as well, Global Biodiversity Framework, and also the SDGs. Let me tell you something. This is a very powerful tool for countries also to meet their commitments made through these international frameworks. It's a very powerful tool because once you have your house in order, it's so much easier to engage with your commitments through your NDCs, MBSAPs, or through the SDG 14, which, by the way, is connected to so many others: hunger, poverty, food security. So the list is very long. So in coherence, that's where the ambition is. The ocean is one. It's just one ecosystem that connects us all. So at the end of the day, what one country does in their national waters affects us all. So if we really want to come up to real solutions, the next frontier is not one of where there's no policy coherence, coherence in finance, diplomacy, and coherence with communities. Colleagues, we have already all the science, we have the data. So we have the frameworks, we have the tools. Now we must have the political courage and practical cooperation to bring them together. The challenges we face with climate change, biodiversity loss, rising inequality do not stop at the shoreline, and neither can our ambition. Let us build an ocean future that is secure, sustainable, inclusive, and above all, shared. Because the ocean is our biggest ally to combat this crisis. Before us, rising insecurity, investment shortfalls, workforce disruption, climate impacts. These are not small, but the tools we have, like sustainable ocean plans and the 100% Alliance, is the key to this coherence that is very much needed. We can no longer afford to treat maritime security, ocean finance, blue jobs, marine planning as disconnected agendas. They must be woven together into single, inclusive, investable, and resilient strategies. This is what sustainable ocean plans bring to the table. This is what the 100% Alliance is calling for. Let us work together to ensure that our ocean is not just biodiverse or secure or productive, but all of the three. Let us protect the ocean as a living system, as an economic engine, and as a shared responsibility. The Ocean Panel uses a 3P mantra: prosperity, production, and preservation. Thank you very much, Shishi.
Thank you, Ms. Barzuna, for your speech.